Hello, everyone. I hope this message finds every one of you to be well. It's a Monday morning, and I thought I would start off by answering some of the questions that we had from the seminar and respond to some of the feedback that you guys gave. But first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you who attended the most recent SEO seminar and provided your feedback to SCORE. We had 214 people in that seminar, which is a large turnout for SCORE seminars. So first, I wanted to say thank you for that. Next, I wanted to announce who the winners are from our drawing. So we have Fred Landers, Antoinette Nero, and Jacinta Voma. So if you guys will send me your mailing addresses, I will send each one of you a copy of Married to Marketing, a Relationship Guide to Business. I hope you'll find it valuable and that it helps you on your journey as a business owner. So those three people, Fred, Antoinette, and Jacinta, you will be getting a copy as soon as you tell me where to send it to. Now, for those that completed the feedback survey, it's clear that we've received a wide range of perspectives on the event. And we got a few more questions as well. So I wanted to take a moment to address some of those key points that were raised in the feedback and to also answer the additional questions. First, thank you for the kind words that you gave, the appreciation that you wrote down. I appreciate that. I'm thrilled that you found value in the content. That's why we do it. And I'm glad that it provided you with a better understanding of what SEO is and the work that goes into it. Really appreciate you writing those words into the feedback survey. Next was the desire for recordings. This happens every time I give a seminar, and as I mentioned in the seminar itself, I understand that many of you would like access to the seminar recordings, and SCORE, like I said, does not send out recordings of their seminars. I, however, do have this teaching as it's coming from me. So I will have the team here make a recording of the teaching and then put it up on engineeringyoursuccess.org, which is part of bzacharybennett.com. And as soon as it's done, I will have it put up. Now, it takes some time to get these videos of the teachings made because they are not a priority for the team. The team's priority is, of course, working on our clients' things, and they work on things for me around those priorities. So connect with me on social media, and when it's available, it will be announced on social media and on the websites. So that's really the best way for you to know when it's going to be made available. Next, some people were talking about their expectations and the length of the seminar. And I understand that some of you expected a more introductory overview of SEO during the seminar. However, 9 times out of 10, when SCORE asked me to teach a seminar, the feedback is always that they want me to provide more detailed information. Some of you appreciated it, others didn't. I do strive to cater to all various skill levels when I build these teachings, and it seems this one seemed a little bit more advanced for a lot of people. Now, remember, my goal in the seminar was not to give you a how-to guide, but to make you aware of what all went into SEO and SEM so that you understand as business owners what needs to be done. It's a lot more than most people think. So knowing that gives you the knowledge, gives you the power of how to judge how you're going to move forward with work in these areas. That couples nicely with the next piece of feedback, which was information overload. I recognize that the content may have felt overwhelming, which is why I made so many caveats in the seminar itself, especially for those that are new to SEO. However, it is difficult to talk about what SEO is from a task standpoint without getting technical. And it was indeed quite technical because the work is quite technical. The idea here, again, is that you learned how technical the job is, more so than absorbing all of the jargon that is used within the industry. My hope is that you can recognize the work that goes into this type of work, right? What all happens in SEO, so that you know what work goes in, what the steps are, so that you can know how to value it, and so that you can know what to expect if you are going to be having this work done, or in some cases, doing it yourself. Now, that audit that I went through can be used as a checklist for what you should be looking for and doing initially, regardless of who you are. However, the ongoing elements are very much business dependent. So the resource guide sent to those that completed the survey will have the audit elements listed in it. Those are things that must be gone through during the audit process, which is number one. So that can be used as a checklist. Now, the next piece of feedback. A couple of people remarked that they thought the seminar was too much like a sales pitch, which I can only assume was because it was brought to you from my company's perspective, because at no point did I say, hey, buy my product.
What do you got to lose? Try my product, try my product, try my product, try my product, try my product.
No, it was my intention to let you know what all went into SEO services based on what real professionals do to accomplish the work, based on my experience with Reformation Productions and other agencies that I have been with. And then, of course, on the other side of things, I have seen many a small business owner get taken advantage of and conned out of money by vendors that promise things that they can't deliver. So I was also warning about these types of companies that can potentially take advantage of you by telling you what types of companies can and cannot do this work, so that you don't get bamboozled, if you will. So to kind of reiterate this, I spoke of my company, one, to let you know who I am, because it's only fair that you know a bit about me and what I do for a living before I presume to teach you something. And then also so that I can tell you what we do specifically in this work on a regular basis as a practitioner. That's why I'm qualified to teach you, right? Does it make sense? Now, if you want to become a client, you can reach out and set up a discovery session for us to discuss it. And we'll see if we are a good fit for each other or not. But we could do that without having the seminar. I'm here to serve the business community, both as my day job, yes, and also in doing these speaking engagements to help teach the community. If you need me, reach out, set up an appointment, or you can just talk to me on social media. That's fine as well. Next was costs considerations. Budget constraints can be a significant concern for small business. My telling you the range that most companies spend on SEO and SEM throughout the country wasn't intended to tell you what you should spend. But it was to set your expectation on what companies spend for this work so that you can see what its perceived value is. You should spend whatever it is that you feel comfortable spending, knowing that, as with anything, the more you spend, the more results you are going to find quicker. But you need to also know that if you're planning on spending $300 a month on SEO and SEM, that you will not be competitive with others who are spending more. It's not that you can't do it. It's not that it won't help you, but you need to know what it will and won't get you. I am of the opinion that if you do anything, it is a positive step forward, regardless of however small it is. Many people get frozen in fear and simply don't move. If you don't move, you'll never get to where you're wanting to go. Now, I did get some additional questions. So let's get into some of those. What can we do to reduce cost? A small business like mine can't afford $1,000 per month on SEO. You're not alone. Most small businesses, at least startup businesses, can't. Most business owners don't even recognize the value in what they should be spending on their entire marketing budget, which is something that you're taught in business school, let alone this one small corner of it. Now, are there things you could do? Yes. But what those things are will depend on your business. Again, nothing is going to be cookie cutter. If you're treated like a cookie cutter business, you're being treated irresponsibly. So the important thing in the statement about what the cost range was is to set your expectations. If you can't afford to spend as much as others do on marketing, you have to know that you aren't going to see the rewards that others will. For you to spend $300 on SEO and expect to be the top of Google with your new company is simply unrealistic for major search terms. Now, you might be able to win at lesser, more rare search terms. Again, it depends on what your business is and the research that's done during the audit process and the initial stages to determine what those search terms should be. Also, there's a section in my book called Build versus Buy. It's about a major conundrum for business owners. You've all heard it takes money to make money, or you can do it yourself, in which it takes time to make money. So the question is, when is it smart to do it yourself, build, or when is it smart to hire professionals, which would be buy? Now, understand, as I said earlier, my seminar was not to sell you on a cheaper way to do things, nor to sell you on a more expensive way to do things. I wasn't trying to sell you at all. The seminar was geared towards education. I was simply telling you what we do as a professional organization that's engaged in this work every day. What do we do in the areas of SEO and SEM, and how much most companies spend on their priorities within that wide range of work. And I tell you that because knowledge is power. You can't make a good decision without knowing what you're making a good decision on. Now, can you do it yourselves as business owners? Can you cut corners? Of course you can. Do I recommend it? No. I recommend that you prioritize based on your audience, your industry, and your budget. The audit is going to be first. You must have a starting place. If you've done very little building of your website, then that audit's going to be very easy to do. Then you can address things that are discovered in that audit as quickly as your budget is going to allow. Then you implement a recommended strategic plan as quickly as your budget will allow for. The smaller the budget, the longer it will take. But what you should do will not change. Now, the strategic plan comes from the audit. Strategic planning is based on expertise. If you don't have it, you will need to get it by either educating yourself enough to make judgment calls, which is going to take time, or by hiring someone that already has the education and the experience, which is going to take money. Now, on the whole, blanket statement, can you do SEO and SEM by yourself? Honestly, no, or at least you shouldn't. You have to learn everything that I discussed. You have to learn what that means, which is going to take time away from your business's main focus. How long is it going to take you to learn it? How much time are you going to sacrifice to learning this? Because time is money. Then after you learned whatever you need to learn, you're going to have to keep your ear to the ground for when Google changes the rules, or when your competition or your audience makes a shift. And then you're going to have to do it all over again. Can you? Is it possible? Yes. Should you? Likely not. Bottom line, it is likely less expensive for you to hire this work out than to hire someone to do it internally. And it's definitely better use of your own time. Concentrate on making a better experience for your patrons if you have a restaurant, or having the most sought after items if you have a retail store. Spend your time on the things that you are good at, that you went into business for. The things that you went into business for, being the best at that, is where you should spend your time. You don't need to learn all the skills that go into marketing. You have to recognize them. You have to know what they are so that you don't get taken advantage of, but you don't have to know them enough to do them. Now, before I leave this topic and you tell me that I still didn't answer your question, I can't. I can't tell you what you should do for your budget when I don't know your business, your brand, your audience, or your specific budget. I can tell you that there are things that you can do and that those things should be prioritized according to those elements. Now, particularly when it comes to the audit, there are softwares that can help automate some of the discovery, again, depending on where your website is hosted and who you are. But even those are going to require some knowledge in order to run them correctly. And that brings up the next topic of your feedback, which is technical material. It's great to hear that some of you found the technical aspects beneficial. I will continue to try to ensure a mix of content that is suitable for various levels of experience, but it's a lot. Knowing that it's technical is going to be the most important takeaway from this seminar. For others that are wanting to learn it as a trade, this seminar was very introductory to you. You will need to apprentice somewhere or to deep dive into education materials to learn the things that you're going to need to know. Learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all that's going to take time. And those are skills that you're going to need in order to do the job correctly. More questions. Is SEO a one-time effort or does it have ongoing elements? Remember in the process with the 5 steps, step 5 are the ongoing parts. So it's ongoing. Now, those parts, what it is that is ongoing, will depend on your business, your budget, and your audience. But because of Google's history, which we went over, right? Because the history of SEO, we know that things will continue to change and we'll need ongoing work to maintain compliance and optimization for those changing rules. Also, your competitors' actions and your consumers' actions will continue to change over time as well. And you'll need ongoing work to address those also. Then there are also seasonal trends that you'll need to adjust for. And don't forget the need to constantly be adding content to your website. So yes, ongoing. Start with the audit, get those things addressed, and then prioritize the ongoing elements based on your business, your budget, and your audience. Next question. Should I hire a SEO agency or do in-house SEO? That is going to be a choice that depends on your resources and your expertise. Smaller businesses often benefit from outsourcing to an agency that can handle SEO, while larger companies may have the capacity to handle SEO in-house. It's crucial to weigh the pros and cons of each option. Again, that's the whole build versus buy conundrum that I discussed earlier. Now, the final question is really more of a statement than a question. I don't think Google should be able to tell me how to run my business or what to put on my website or how often I need to update. Well, that's a fair statement. However, it's irrelevant. Number one, they are the leading search engine in the world. They are king, and you must live under the king's rules if you want to play in the king's sandbox. Number two, if you stop and look at it from their perspective, their customers are people that search for things on their site and expect to have good results when they do that, right? Google's job, therefore, is to provide them with good results by vetting the sites that are found on the internet. If you don't pass their vetting, you won't be featured very highly, which is fine, but then you can't count on organic search. If you don't want to make changes on your site according to their conditions, their rules, then you're going to have to drive people to your site by other means, ways that are not organic, meaning paid or some other method, which you can do and you should be doing anyway to a certain degree, but organic is nice as well. Now, the last area of feedback I'll talk about was the overall appreciation that you guys showed. We're delighted to see positive comments and high ratings from several attendees. Your encouragement to me and to SCORE will motivate us to continue delivering high quality content and to continue to support small businesses. Now, my next webinar that I'm doing for SCORE will be in December. Now, I can't tell you what the topic is yet because SCORE is discussing it internally before they finally ask me to concentrate on a specific area. The way that this works is SCORE identifies something that needs to be talked about. They bring it to me, and then we discuss what it is that I can bring to the table on that subject. But it will be announced both by SCORE and by myself via social media and our websites once it has been determined. So if you enjoyed this teaching, connect with one or both of us on the social medias, and then I hope to see you again at the next one. Thanks.